Live.
Hello, everybody. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Wednesday has come already.
What a great day. It's been a good day here.
It has been a good day. It has. What have you been up to, Bill?
Not a whole lot. I did a little work around the house and around the place, and that's been about it. And then I saw Jimmy was on the Astute Tourist,
Caught
so
that.
I stopped in there for a few minutes before getting ready for this one.
Yes, I did the same. And I was packing for Alaska.
Must be nice.
Yeah, it was, it's a little different than packing, let's say, for what we're going to talk about today in Caribbean cruising. So I just have to shift a little bit here because I was putting jackets and layers and
Yeah.
onions and all of that in my suitcase. So we're going to talk about Caribbean cruises. But let's start by saying hello to some people in the chat here.
All right.
First in, we have Cruise Nuts. Welcome on in, Cruise Nuts. Thanks for coming on in. Controversial cruising, that guy. Trouble.
Nothing but.
Ross at Orange Cone Vlog. Welcome on in, my friend. Thanks for coming on in.
Welcome in, Ross.
My Brooklyn brother, Eddie. Yo, yo, yo. Brooklyn in the house, y'all.
Eddie.
Mr. Clock, Family Adventures.
Hey, Mike.
I actually got a package from Mr. Clock from his giveaway last
I did too.
Yes.
I did too. I got those, but I also got the magnet.
Yes. That's already on my fridge, so holding up some menus and things like that. So thank you, Mike, for that.
I was taking a picture of it just to share it out to a group, and I stuck it right here on my computer for a second. But I took the picture, and I had some people, Destination Fun and Danny, Sherry and Danny. Don't put it on your computer. You can wipe out your hard drive. And it's like, yeah, I knew that, but again, it was smart. I shouldn't have done it. I was doing it for a hot second. It wasn't that strong of a magnet.
I tried to stick it on here, but it didn't stick. But it's on my fridge. So thank you, Mike. Let's see here. The one and only Betty J Gathers. Welcome on in. Thanks for coming on in.
Welcome in, Betty.
Betty. Had a live this morning, which I really enjoyed. Talked about how 1960s are a little bit more chaotic than today's society. So really good, interesting live. It is true. It's true. See, I'm shaking my head. Yes. Yes.
Betty.
Just Cody, welcome on in, my friend. Thanks for coming on in.
Hey, Cody.
Hey, the Moonlight Adventures. Welcome on in, my friend. Thanks for coming in.
Welcome in, Josh. I'm assuming it's Josh. Welcome in. Josh cracks me up. He does.
They have some good, funny videos. If you really want some good entertainment over there and a really good laugh, check out Moonlight Adventures and their vlogs and their videos because it's a good time. They will definitely have you laughing for sure. And welcome on in, June. You know she is listening as me and her husband are getting ready to embark on our Alaska journey. So I know Brady is probably just around the corner or somewhere here in the chat. We have Jaden. Welcome on in. Jaden 0428. Let's see here. Ooh. Chat's doing some crazy stuff on me today. Let's see here.
It does that sometimes.
It does. Jennifer from Embarkation Nation stopping in to say hello, show some love. Just entered Maine, may lose service, but we'll catch the replay before then. Appreciate that.
Jennifer, thanks for stopping in from all the way from Maine. They're up in the Boston, Maine, Massachusetts area. So thanks for thinking of us.
Absolutely. Thanks for stopping on in. And hopefully our trivia show tomorrow will be still be on. And I'm going to still be here, so no matter what. But hopefully you guys will be able to join on in. Let's see here. We got Will G. Welcome on in, my friend. Thanks for coming
Will
in.
G, happy early birthday, I believe. His birthday is tomorrow, I do believe.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Let's see here. Ooh, Scotty Too Hottie from the Astute Raid. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, Scotty. Welcome in.
I believe, is that what they call Scott Compliance? 2 Scots now in the chat. Scott Compliance.
That's 2.
We have Bone Tie Travelers. Welcome on in.
Denise, welcome in. I'm assuming it's Denise.
Let's see here. Cheryl from Cruising is Fun Anytime. Welcome on.
Cheryl. They're getting ready to get on their cruise pretty soon. Not too much longer.
Oh yeah, I think it's just a couple days. I was watching the morning show. I think just a couple days.
It won't be long.
But you guys are excited. Tuning on in. I'm sure some of their ports are on our list here. So let's see here. Oh, Jimmy, my friend, welcome on in, raiding us. Thank you for coming on in.
Thanks for the raid, Jimmy.
Yes. We'll be watching the last 10 minutes of what I missed after this. Welcome on in, Keisha. In both live streams for a couple of my favorite cruising peeps. Happy Thursday.
Beep, 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 beep.
Keisha. Oh, wait. Is it Thursday? No, it's not Thursday. It's Wednesday.
Close enough.
Close enough.
We're playing horseshoes here. It's close enough.
He got me. I was like, wait, it's Wednesday. Mike says you are all welcome. And I already have one now on my suitcase for my Carnival cruise, my upcoming Carnival cruise, Mike. So thank you very much. Again.
They come in handy.
They do. They really do. Because those paper ones, I started out, obviously, when I was in my 20s. Like, I don't need one of those things. I just paper, and it's been ripped and torn. And
exactly. That's why I started using these, because it's so easy to rip those paper ones off with just the staples. I do these. I've never had one come off. Staple one I had come off, and it's a disaster, or could be a disaster. Not necessarily,
but not a gamble I want to take. I'd rather gamble in the casino. Let's see here. Oh, Rooted and Essential Oils. Welcome on in. Hey, Bill and Scott and everybody in the chat.
Famous, welcome in.
Welcome on in. And the birthday man, Law Jones. Oh man, I keep posting a link for Scott. Turns out it was for tomorrow's live. There is also a tomorrow's live for the trivia with him.
Right.
But thank you, Law. We really appreciate it, and happy birthday, my friend. Happy birthday. The Bud Files has also made it in. A lot of people.
Welcome in, Bud Files.
Yeah, this is awesome. People wishing Law Jones a happy birthday. Happy birthday again. So make sure I didn't forget anybody. I'm using a different computer today because this is actually giving better pictures. So the mouse is a little backwards here, and I'm trying to get used to it, but making sure we don't miss anybody here. Whoa, who's this? Oh, that was Law Jones. Astute Raid. They are raiding us, and I love it. Love it. We have the Down Under Cruiser, Sean. Good day, Scott and Billy. Just stopping in before our class. Well, we appreciate that, my friend. Thank you.
Welcome in, Sean.
Welcome in. Bruce from Ocean to Ocean Travel.
Bruce is in the house.
Yes. I'm calling you soon, my friend. Put on some deposits for some cruises for next year, some group cruises. Exploring with Eric has made it in. Hola.
Eric, welcome in.
Hey, we have Andre Southgate, full support.
Hey, Andre, thank you for coming in.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
He's from New Zealand.
We very much appreciate you coming on. Let's see here. Everyone's saying hi. Clicking just to get my space here. The big chat today, Bill.
Yep. It's coming right along.
Saying hello to each other. Gathers. Trying to get to the bottom here. Happy birthday again, Law. Lord, if you all the love on his birthday. Who are friends from the north? Wait. Mike and Rihanna.
Mike and Rihanna, welcome in.
Welcome in. Oh, somebody else. Johannes Sulong.
Donis, Donis, welcome in. Thank you, my friend.
Yes, thanks for coming on in. Appreciate you. Wait. I think I got it down. I think I got it all the way down.
There it is.
Destination Fun.
Welcome in, Sherry.
Welcome in. She had just tried her sour warhead soda.
She did.
Live, and I was cringing because I do not like sours, not because of the video, because of the sourness. And I know Danny tried a few on live too, and well, I would have had the same reaction. So let's just say that.
Well, you can't mix it with ice either. Ice dilutes everything. You can't do that.
They mixed it with honey too, and that was crazy. I was gonna throw some crazy stuff in there, but I was like, happy dance. Yes. That actually sounds really good. German chocolate cake. It sounds really good. All the way down to the bottom, Mr. Nightbot. So let's talk, Bill, now that we have gotten down to the bottom here of the chat, Mr. Warmstrong Adventures, I'm going to ask you a question. Why do you think Caribbean cruise ports are better for first-time cruisers or people looking to get back into cruising? Why do you think a Caribbean cruise is going to be best for somebody like that?
Well, I'm going to speak to VS Speaks. VS Speaks, welcome in real quick. Usually the Caribbean, just because they're so close and, you know, the expenditure, you go down to Florida, usually you can get a cheaper Caribbean cruise than most other cruises to see whether or not, you like cruising. Some people, they don't know. So they get on a cruise ship and next thing you know what? Nope, I don't like this. This water's not for me. That's why I kind of say do like a 3-4 day cruise to begin with. It's more of a partier cruise, but you get a feel of whether you like cruising or not. But I think the Caribbean, just because it's the close proximity to the U.S., I think it's a great place to go. It's warm weather generally year round. I think it's a great place.
Absolutely. And also, for anybody that's worried about maybe getting seasick or again on their first cruise, what Bill said, the boat goes really slow or slower because they are so close to the US. So they'll go just fast enough because they know that some people are prone to getting seasick. So they will go just fast enough to make sure that that ride or the cruise to the Caribbean cruise port is a smooth sailing. So I agree with you. I think a Caribbean cruise, a 3 or 4 day, maybe even a 5 day, because you may want to visit more than one port. However, I always say, let's just see if you like one port before we go into a 5 day cruise, but maybe a 4 day cruise that maybe goes to a port that we'll talk about on today's show, like Cozumel or something like that, where you take it from Miami, or you take it from, let's say, New Orleans, and it goes super slow, goes right to Cozumel, and comes right back. So I couldn't agree more with Bill. You also get a feel for the ship. Most of those 3 and 4 day cruises too, Bill, I believe they are kind of on older, smaller ships, correct?
Usually Royal Caribbean is doing something different. Well, and I guess it's one of their older ships. They have like Allure of the Seas is going to be doing 3 and 4 day cruises, but they're coming out with a brand new ship that's going to be doing 3 and 4 day cruises, which is unheard of. A brand new elite ship doing 3 or 4 day. That's unheard of in this industry. Usually, it's the older ships that go out for the 3 or 4 days. But I don't know. This is it. They're Royal Caribbean breaks the mold a lot of times in shipbuilding and apparently now itineraries.
They do. And I believe what you and I will both be able to speak a lot more on that next year, since we'll be going on some Royal Caribbean ships and experiencing that. But just to let everybody know in the chat, and I'm sure everybody does know, that a bulk of Bill's and myself, our cruises have been on Carnival ships. So when we say a lot of the things we say, we mostly mean for Carnival. We have cruised on other lines before, but mostly is kind of what I meant as far as Carnival.
Right.
3 and 4 day cruises are mostly on those smaller ships, which again is kind of nice because you don't feel like, too, kind of over kind of barred with too much stuff to do on the cruise and kind of choosing what to do or where to do, because it's kind of a smaller ship and you can kind of navigate. So again, also kind of really agree on that. Let's get into talking a little bit about the most popular Caribbean cruise ports that you would see on these cruise ports. And I'm sure, Bill, you have been to some of them. So what are some of those cruise ports that we are kind of going to be talking about today?
Well, the one that stands out for me is Nassau. My goodness, and they built it up now where they can get even more ships in there. And Nassau, which is again, it's one of the closest ports, easy to get to. A lot of ships hit that port, even 3 day cruises. Like, hey, let's hit, because you have to hit an international port. Hit Nassau, and for me, it's crowded. I haven't been down there since they redone the port. So I'm really looking forward to that one. But you got your Cozumels, and those are another big port that is going to hold a lot of ships.
Yep. Welcome in, Randy too. Scrow's Nest has just made it on in. Getting back to the chat too as you answer here, Bill. Let's see here. When Najuma Brown has made it in. Welcome on in. Thank you for coming on in.
Welcome in.
Yes. So those are definitely some of the most popular cruise ports. So what I figured we would do, instead of just kind of listing off these cruise ports one by one, I have created, I'm going to show here and share my screen here with everybody, created this wonderful picker wheel, as they call it. Boop. I'll leave our faces here. Let me just put this down here. So this is going to be, in our opinion, the top 10 cruise ports. Again, maybe a little biased because these are the ones that we have mostly been to, so we can talk about them and give you the most information on these cruise ports. So we've made a wheel here. What we're going to do is we are going to spin them, and then we're going to talk about that cruise port and give you a little bit of information, let you know if it is one of our best cruise ports to cruise in the Caribbean or one of our worst cruise ports to cruise in the Caribbean. So let's spin it here for the first spin.
What will it be?
What will it be?
Welcome in, Z.
Yes, welcome in, Z. Oh, did we get a line for the first one? All right, Curacao or Rocco Curacao.
Yeah.
So let me get that over there. Stop sharing here. Okay. So we've hit the first one, Bill. Have you ever been to Curacao?
Of all the ones up there, that's probably the only one I haven't been to. And no, I was scheduled to go there on Horizon, and they changed it and sent me to the Dominican. So I have not been there. It's one of the places that I really want to go. Really want to go. I'm watching, I believe, JNS Adventures, Cheryl, and they were talking about Curacao and how much they loved it. I want to go there. I don't know if it has exactly, like I love beaches and things like that. So I'm not sure that it'll be the port for me. but like just the area around the port area, just some of the buildings I want to check out. And apparently, there's a floating bridge that they have.
Look at this. You have no, wait, sorry. Randy will be in Curacao tomorrow.
It's a good, Randy,
How awesome
bragger, you bragger, you.
is that? If anybody else has any awesome information about Curacao, we'll spend just a few minutes. So please put it in the chat. If you have any wonderful excursions, if you have any wonderful stories about Curacao, please put them in the chat. I myself, like Warmstrong, this is one of the ones that I have put on the wheel on purpose for this reason, to ask you guys if you guys have been to Curacao, because I have never been to Curacao. I was never planned to go to Curacao. It was just never on my list of destinations to go to. I definitely would go to if my cruise was cruising there. I just have never had the opportunity. But yeah, Armstrong and I have not experienced that cruise port, that Caribbean cruise port.
That's almost incredible. 70 some odd cruises, and neither one of us has gone there.
Now, I may have gone when I was really, really young, but again, I'm only counting what I remember, because I've been on cruises when I was really, really young, and I'm not going to count those, only the ones that I actually remember. So let's see here. Give people a chance in the chat before we hop on to the next patient here. Oh, June says we will be there in October, 15 days on the Venezia.
Nice.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, you guys getting ready to go on a cruise? I'm jealous. I want to cruise.
One of the reasons why I ended up hooking up with her husband, because he needed some sea days to get to Platinum, because they both wanted to get to Platinum before this wonderful cruise they're taking in October on the Venezia. So wonderful thing here in the cruising community, how people end up coming together. Let's see here. Maybe a group cruise to the ABC Islands could be something to think about.
It would be.
Maybe. I've been there, but going on the Venezia later this year. Yes, Brady. Oh, I've not been there. Not been there. Okay, not been there, but going later this year. Okay, so I don't know if many people have been to Curacao. Let's share our screen again and get to another one, Bill, so we can
Let's go.
Talking about these cruise ports. And I did take Curacao off, by the way. So
no doubles.
No doubles.
We can't see the wheel.
That's a little delayed.
Are you not sharing the wheel?
Yeah, it's there.
Why am I not seeing it? Oh, there we go. I'm looking on something else. My bad.
There's there. Oh, this is a good one. Oh, this is a good one. Let me delete it. Hold on. This is a good one, guys. Cozumel. I know so many people are going to have so much to say about Cozumel, so let's get that off the wheel. Stop that share in there. All right, Bill. Spill all you know about Cozumel.
Well, Cozumel, it's a fun port to go to. Not one of my favorites, because the beach is not like right there, but there are a lot of things to do. You can go to a nice beach. You can go to the Mayan ruins. Cozumel has a ton of things to do, and it's one of the most popular ports out there. So they take good care of you. I don't know as far as like going into town and dealing with the locals. I like dealing with the locals a lot of times. So it's not one of those type of ports, but it's a port where there's a ton of things for you to do, a ton of shopping. And then, the Mayan ruins to me is, one of those things that everybody should go visit at least once. Maybe a lot of people aren't going to make it over to see the pyramids, but these temples over there, I think people will enjoy. It's high up on the list as far as one of the better Caribbean islands. It gives you a taste of a ton of the things they do in the Caribbean islands.
Yeah, it really does. And would you say that is on more of your best ports to visit or your worst ports to visit?
I'm going to say one of my better ports, Cozumel. I mean, some people may not like it because it might be over commercialized, but it's laid out well. Even though it's crowded, it doesn't feel as crowded as some other ports. So it's It's up there.
It's up there. I would have to agree. To tell you the truth, I've probably been to Cozumel myself 15, maybe 16 times. Now, let's just start when I didn't know people in Cozumel. So when I didn't know people in Cozumel, I took the ever so popular Chichen Itzen. I know I'm really
That was pretty good, I think, because I can't get that close.
Chichen Itzen tour. I did that back, I believe, in 2016. Amazing tour. I do not exactly remember the tour company or tour guide that I used, but the tour guide was amazing. We got a little bit of lunch too as well. We saw the entire Mayan ruin, the Chichen Itza ruins. That was really cool. And then we ended up back at the ever so popular Fat Tuesdays. Now, if you know Cozumel, and you know that you get right off the ship, and there is a Fat Tuesdays on the left,
side,
and
I
then
believe it's
there's
left side.
Amigos on the right side. So that is basically where all the partying takes place. There are some people, and I've done it too, that do not move from Fat Tuesdays. They get off and they plop right at Fat Tuesdays. They watch the show. There's a pole in there. There's DJ. I mean, drinks are strong. There's the frozen Slurpee things that are hard Slurpee things on the wall. So crazy time in Fat Tuesdays. They ring a bell every time everybody throws a tip in. So really good time there. I enjoyed some time there in Fat Tuesdays. Now, going there in my 20s after kind of, doing some of the excursions in Cozumel, I spent some time in Fat Tuesdays. I ended up meeting a bartender who became a really close friend of mine. Her name is Veronica. And now when I go to Cozumel, we either hang out at Fat Tuesdays for a little while, but then we'll end up going somewhere. She'll end up taking me on another tour of the backside of Cozumel, or we'll end up going to another local bar, again, hanging out with the locals, like Bill said. And she is, again, one of my dear friends. And if I don't hit her up or she knows and I post on Instagram or something, she gets completely mad at me. So definitely one of my really good friends. If I have extra time there, I'll probably spend it near the port, just because there is a lot of things to do right outside the port. And again, I'm one that I'll adventure on the outside of the port, doesn't matter. But as far as Cozumel goes, everything you kind of really need for a first-time cruise you're talking about, everything is right there at that port. So, I mean, it is a really good port. Well, let's see what the chat has to say.
Do you ever go to Three Amigos?
I have been to Three Amigos a few times. The bulk of the time that I've tried to go there, it was so packed that couldn't even get a drink. And a lot of the bartenders at Fat Tuesdays ended up knowing me, so I just ended up.
Okay.
But I have been to Three Amigos. I have. Well, let's see. Randy says Cozumel. I was there last week.
Look at Randy bragging again. Randy, he's on a back-to-back cruise, people.
He is. Hopefully, we'll get some vlogs, or Randy will show us some content there from his cruises. Keisha says, my first cruise included Cozumel as the only destination port. I wanted to go back and get a magnet to see the Mayan ruins. Yes, just lazed the PM, got the beach, got a beach massage and lazed on the beach for 4 hours. Yeah, definitely something you could do in Cozumel, for sure. Laying on the beach, for sure. Definitely been to the beach a few times over there. Definitely can lose some hours for sure. Let's see here. Let's put the wheel back up here, Bill.
Make sure I'm looking at the right thing.
Make sure you're looking at the right thing. We gotta get another wheel. Spin the wheel.
We got Lovey's Fat Life just walked in. Welcome in, Lovey.
Welcome on in, Lovey. Wait. There he is.
Dang it.
So we have the Saints. So I believe, let's see here, we're going to stop sharing our screen, put us back up there. Welcome in Mike from Lovey's Fat Life. Actually, one of my favorite ports is a port that you guys were just at. So put that down there. And so the Saints, Bill, St. Martin, St. Thomas, and like St. Martin, St. Thomas, St. Lucia, and St. George. I myself have been only to St. Thomas, and that was when I was really little, when I was 4 or 5. I remember snorkeling, and that's about it. I just remember snorkeling. I remember my mom holding me and looking down, kind of probably crying and a little terrified. But that's really all I remember of the Saints. So, Bill, I'm going to lean on you for this one, and I'm going to lean on the chat for this one as far as the Saints go.
But I can remember like St. Martin. It's a one island with French and Dutch, and they had some of the prettiest water that I've ever seen. Matter of fact, one of the beaches is Maho Beach. If you ever seen like those big planes flying like right over a beach, right over people's heads, that was there. And it's like a once in a lifetime type of deal. It's dangerous because you get that jet blast, and it blows people over. Jewelry falls off and in the water, and I think there's been like one death. People still love to do it, but the island itself, you usually get it off, and I believe on the Dutch side in Saint Martin, and you take a little tender in and go around the island. Great history there, and then you go from French to the Dutch. The beaches is some of the clearest water that you'll ever see. I don't scuba dive, but there's tons of scuba diving there. That's all I really kind of remember. It was a long time ago that I went there, so I don't know how much it's changed. Very friendly people. Most spoke English, especially on the Dutch side. The Dutch side was basically, I think their primary language was English.
Okay.
So easy to get around. Cabs are there, very safe. I loved it. St. Thomas is another great place just to walk around. Take the gondola ride up the mountain to get a bird's eye view of the place.
Wish I would have done that when I was younger. Ooh.
Yeah, but you went scuba diving, so I mean that's nice too.
True. Or snorkeling, either way. But that's really all I remember. I think Clock said we had some great street tacos on the bed of a straight across the street from the port. I believe he was talking about Cozumel, because I'm behind here a little bit in the chat, so we're going to catch up here. But continue telling us about St. Martin or any of the other saints, Bill, if you have been.
St. George, that's going to be Grenada, I believe. And that's another. I mean, again, for me, it's kind of what I like. You're not right at the beach when you get off the ship, but go to the beaches, laid back, not really that commercialized. You'll be in heaven. I mean, for somebody who like me that likes something like that. They have these spice markets. They have just a ton of little markets, but it doesn't feel like if you're going to Nassau, it feels like everybody's trying to sell you something. These just seem like just regular markets, and you're going around visiting. Like the market would be there even if the ships weren't there, and that's what I love about it. You go there and negotiate a little bit and just enjoy yourself. For me, I went there. I took a tour of the island. But the biggest thing was going to the beach, and the beach were pristine. I mean, I've seen no prettier beaches, not yet at least.
I'm on the haggling side, so I would definitely be in those markets, haggling for some souvenirs for sure. There is 3 mics in the chat, Scott. You are now in compliance, so we're also in mic compliance too. There's 3.
Uh-oh. Scott and Mike.
That's right. Really love St. Thomas and St. Martin. Brady, what did you like so much about St. Thomas and St. Martin? I know you do a lot of excursions. I know I probably hold you back from some of the excursions because I like to just go out and explore. But yeah, what did you do in St. Martin and St. Thomas? I'm kind of interested to hear. Lovey says we are going to St. Thomas in October.
If you get a chance, go to the beach. I guarantee you, you will be impressed.
Lovey, I'm trying to find every way onto that cruise. Oh man, that not the non-group. I want to go so bad. I want to go so bad.
St. Lucia is the same way. So when you go there, I mean, go straight to the beach. You might want to see the town or a little bit of country. Go to the beach.
Go to the beach.
Everything is going to end up at the beach. I guarantee you.
Everything. Will G says, been to St. Thomas, but not on a cruise. Spent a week there. Oh, interesting. Share what are some things you did there, Will G. That's awesome. You spent a whole week there. Destination fun. We love St. Thomas.
Yeah, St. Thomas it's a great place. All the saints. I mean, you can't go wrong with the saints. Any if it says saint in it, go. You'll be happy.
We want to go to St. Martin and St. Lucia. Put it on the list. Because after the first cruise, Mike and Rihanna, I'm telling you, just happens and rolls after that. It's 1, 2, 3, and then before you know it, you're into double digits. Clock Family Adventures I went to Airport Beach back in April. Is that the beach that you were talking about, Bill?
It's Maho Beach. I don't know if they might call it Airport Beach because it's right there. I mean, you're right at the end of the runway. There's like the runway, a road, then the beach, and then maybe 20 or 30 yards of beach, and then you right into the water.
Anyone else going to be on the Venezia? St. Martin, St. Lucia, St. Kitts are all great. Oh, I forgot St. Kitts. Oh man,
St. Kitts.
St. Kitts. Sorry.
Matter of fact, when you started talking about Fat Tuesdays, because that's where I hung out. That was kind of in the port area, but in St. Kitts, I hung out at Fat Tuesdays. I think I took a tour, but I came back in the port and just hung out at Fat Tuesdays.
It's a good spot.
It is.
Plan on taking a ride to the top of the mountain and also Megan's Beach.
Megan's Beach is one of the best.
You're on the 9. I'm jealous. Brady William Beaches towards St. Martin. Love the French side. Maho Beach. There you go. We're together. Let's see. And all the way. I couldn't remember the name. It's okay.
Close enough. Airport Beach. I mean, that's a perfect name for it.
Oh, wait. June says, Lucky's Fat Life. We took that excursion in May. One of the best we've ever been on. There you go. It's nice. And Cruising Scene, too, has just made it on in. Welcome on in, Cruising Scene. Thanks for coming on in. Sure I didn't miss anybody else up here. No. Let's see. Will G says, hit all the beaches, went to British Virgin Islands, St. John's Island. Okay.
Never been to St. John's. I've always wanted to.
There's a lot more saints than I realized, I think.
There's a ton of them.
There's a ton. All right, so let's get another part up here on the wheel.
Let's go. Yes, and these are some of my favorite ports. I would go to any of these ports anytime.
All of the saints?
All the saints. If you told me it was going to a saint, I'm in.
All right. What do we got? I put a mini fridge in my studio. Oh yeah, one of my favorites. Done. Roatan off the list. Okay. Roatan. Let's see. Cruise community and cruise chat. Have you been to Roatan? Let us know. Let us know if you have done any excursions, if you've met anybody in Roatan. And Bill, have you been to Roatan?
Now, Roatan, I've been to, I think it's Roatan. We're talking about Mahogany Bay.
Correct.
Yeah,
Mahogany. Yeah.
Mahogany Bay. I love it, and I love this. It's one of my favorites because, as I said, a lot of times now I'm taking tours of the islands, but now I want to go to the beach. That's kind of right there, and it's not crowded, or at least it wasn't crowded when I went there. And one of the things besides being a beautiful beach and friendly people, the one thing that stuck out in my mind about that trip was I went on there when I was on the Mardi Gras.
Okay.
And I was literally on the beach using the ship's Wi-Fi. And I mean, I didn't know how the ship's Wi-Fi could be that good. But that's the main thing that stuck out in my mind. They had the little ski lift ride, to get over if you don't feel like walking. It's I don't know, half-mile walk maybe to the beach.
So
Yeah, you walk around. It's an easy walk, pretty much scenic. But some people don't want to do that. You gotta forget how much it is, a couple of dollars. Do a ski lift ride over to the beach area, and I mean you get good views from the ski lift. Well worth it. Well worth it.
definitely well worth it.
Never tour like around or any place outside the port area though.
So no excursions. You've never done an excursion.
Never done an excursion.
Yeah, let's see here. Will G says, oh, wait, where'd it go? Love Roatan. I do too. Definitely haven't been there in a while, but I love Roatan. Can't wait to tell you guys. Let's see. Oh, guess where Randy was last week?
Randy. Can we block Randy? He's showing us up. Randy, why aren't you up here with us telling us about all the ports?
I know. We should have had him on the show.
Really?
Roatan. Yep. And confirmed it. He loved the sky ride.
The view is incredible. Like looking out over the beach and ship area. I mean, it's beautiful.
I will say it's definitely worth the money. It's definitely worth the experience. Even if you just take it one way, let's say you walk one way and then you end up taking it one way. It's just the experience. You can get so many different pictures, especially for the vloggers and all of the content creators in the chat. You really get a whole view that you wouldn't get walking. And yes, you can still vlog walking and, get the whole experience. But from that sky ride, oh man, it is a view of the entire island, and you can see everything. You can see the ships, you can see the water sports, you can see the beach, you can see the restaurant. I mean, it's really great, and it's only like $6, like Bill said, like $5 or $6, something like that. So, but what I like to do actually, and kind of funny that Will G just said it here, you need to go to the West End Beach next time. So basically what I do, and this was a crew secret from Sabio El Jefe, I went off with him in Roatan. I've been off with him a bunch of times in Roatan. There is a all the way down at the West End, all the way down. So basically you just get off the ship, you get into the beach area, and then you just walk as far as you can go until there is no more walking. There is basically a tiny little shack restaurant there that will sell you a red snapper that is either broiled or fried or something grilled, and it is just pull off the bone. I tried to find it on my Facebook. I couldn't find it. I think it's in my phone. I have some pictures to share of other ports, but it was pull off the bone. You could jump off the docks all the way at the end, and basically why this was a secret is all the way down at the end, most of the people that are on the ship, most of the passengers get tired from walking all the way down. So the crew makes it all the way down and it's less quiet. I don't think the pricing is any different unless you're on like an actual crew member, but you can go down there. It's a little bit more quiet. You get that big fried, grilled red. I mean, it fed 3 of us for $15. We were just picking it off and we were jumping off the dock, coming back, picking it off. They gave some chips and some salsa and some other stuff with it too as well. So definitely probably one of my favorite, top 5 favorite Caribbean cruise ports to go to as far as best and worst. I love it there. It's like a paradise, and everything that you do as far as Roatan goes, for the most part, you can see you can see the ship. So you're not far. You're not far. But the sky ride, the beach, even where I'm talking about as far as like the crew beach, you can still see the ship right there. So I love it.
That's what, and that sounds like what I like. It's funny how cheap things are once you get away from the port area. The port area, they charge you like tourist prices.
Of course.
But once you get away, just a little bit, and I mean, my goodness, the prices just drop drastically.
Big time.
The $1.50 beers and all this $2 beers, maybe.
It was. I think back then, I think it was like $1.50 beers or something like that, which was kind of crazy. So, and I just remember jumping off the dock and doing cannonballs or doing the flips and, off the dock, and it was awesome. And you were allowed to do it. There wasn't any signs that said, no jumping off the dock. Yeah, jump. Fine.
Right.
Yeah. Let's see here. Randy is waiting to go for the comedian to start at 8. The comedian has already started. Did the sloths and the monkeys last time I went to Roatan. All right. So
I've seen a few videos. I want to do the sloths and the monkeys. Probably next time I go to Roatan, that's what I'll do. I've seen a few videos about that.
Yeah, because that's an actual excursion that you would go on. So.
Yeah.
All right. Let's see here. Okay, what do we have for Mr. Wheeler next? We are getting down to the nitty gritty here.
And that was yes, that was one of the better ports.
Definitely one of the better ports for sure. I'm excited to talk about one of these ports, like more than any other port on here.
Hopefully it's coming up.
Mazatlan. This one's going to be a throwback for me. Mazatlan. Stop shit.
Mazatlan.
So Mazatlan, Bill. Mazatlan's going to be kind of a little, let's say a little unique, because how would you get to Mazatlan as far as a cruise goes?
Well, how this got on our Caribbean list, I'll never know. Mazatlan is on the west coast of Mexico.
Yes.
So, I mean, when I went there, I went out of a cruise from Los Angeles, Long Beach, and I love the port. Well, I love traveling around. I didn't spend much time in the port. I got out and went. If you ever look at my videos and see a drone shot of me where I'm standing on the beach and I'm waving out and a drone takes off, that was Mazatlan. And I like the area, and people were very friendly. Things were cheap. I like Mazatlan, but again, that's the Western Mexican Riviera.
Yes, Western Mexican Riviera. When was the last time you were in Mazatlan?
Maybe a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
Maybe. But again, I love the entire trip on the Western Caribbean, or I'm sorry, Western Caribbean, Mexican Riviera. It was just beautiful. But again, I don't know, was it because I've never been there, or I haven't been there often, or was it really that nice? But Mazatlan was a great port. I felt safe. People always talk about how dangerous they think Mexico is. I went way off the beaten path and went to like a beach. I forget the name of it, and just walked around, drank at the local bars, had some dinner, and I had a blast. I had a great time.
Yeah, because Mazatlan, it would be in that whole Puerto Vallarta and that whole itinerary over there.
Cabo San Lucas.
Cabo San Lucas. Yep, I've done that too as well. Well, let's see here. If anybody has been to Mazatlan or any of those, we'll just open it up too for any of those Mexican, Western Mexican Riviera ports too. Definitely drop that in the chat too. We want to know if you have been to any of those Mexican Riviera ports. I will be going to Mazatlan in February on a Mexican Riviera cruise on the Panorama.
Yeah, and that's what I was on the Panorama too. Panorama is like my third favorite Carnival cruise ship. The 2XL class ships, and then Panorama will be my next one.
Yep. My old
you'll like it.
Just came back from the Panorama too. He was just in Mazatlan. I myself haven't been in Mazatlan probably in about 15 or 18 years, all I do remember, and this may be different now, was the shopping was incredible. I just remember my mom raving about wanting to get off the port because the prices, as far as what she was shopping for, I believe it was jewelry, don't quote me, but whatever she was shopping for, it was so much cheaper in Mazatlan than where we were back in the States in New York.
Yeah.
So we spent the whole day. I remember getting an ice cream cone because it was good. And
Well, look at you.
we went around. We didn't really do any excursions, but I do remember my mom saying that the shopping there was out of this world. She came back with a whole bunch of things. I think my dad stayed on the boat. I don't even remember, but I went around with my aunt and I went around with my mom, and we went shopping. So I do know that that's kind of one of the highlights as far as Mazatlan goes.
Well, a lot of those areas. That's what it's it's about. It's getting off at the ports and going into like the city where the residents are. You know, what I mean, Puerto Vallarta. I mean, you're going out there with, well, at least I am. Can you walk to a beach? But even the beach, if you walk down the beach, they got resorts there, so you're still dealing with a lot of locals.
Right. I was there last December. Enjoyed the excursion we did there. What excursion did you do there, Randy? My parents been to Cabo, Ensenada. Oh, that's another one that gets in on that itinerary. Puerto Vallarta on the Carnival Spirit years ago before it moved. Yes.
Ensenada. Well, I remember Ensenada. What bar did? What was the Beers and Me? It was a bar, kind of like Senior Frogs.
Mm-hmm.
Papa's Beers and Beers or something like that. I had a blast. It was funny. I mean, they would get in the girls and they would flip them upside down, pour shots in their mouth. I'll tell you about off camera. I'll tell you about it.
Oh, that's great. That's great. All right, let's get another one up here. We are coming down to not a lot left. Here we go. Jamaica. So Montego Bay / Ochos Rios. Open this up to all of the people in the chat too as well. That's why I didn't just make it Montego or just make it Ochos Rios. So let me stop sharing there. Let me go done here. Delete it. And boom, we are back. So chat, let us know all you have experienced as far as Jamaica goes, either Ochos Rios or Montego Bay. And Bill, why don't you lead us off on this one? I'll lead us off on the next one. But
yep, never went to Montego Bay, okay. But Ochos Rios, I went there, and when I went there, I did the Duns Falls tour, and I loved it. But I will say, now this is one of the cruise ports that I don't like, because I didn't feel safe. Nothing happened. But it was just how the armed guards that they had at the gate and the barbed wire fence and all this other stuff, it really turned me off. And now I'm in a cruise ship or a cruise tour bus going, didn't run into any problems, made it to Duns Rivers Fall, no problem. But I just the optics made me real nervous. And you definitely know walking outside the gate, outside the port. So either you were taking a tour. I mean, we weren't doing anything but taking a tour. So anyway, took a tour and really enjoyed it. I enjoyed Duns Falls, but I'm not looking forward to going back.
It could be a very like taken back kind of thing for a first time cruiser to kind of like walk out in Ochos Rios or Montego Bay and kind of see that barbed wire and see those armed guards. So it's I kind of get what you're saying as far as, being like, oh, like, are we safe here? Is it safe here?
Yeah, I don't know. I had to, I had my kids. The kids were smaller. I had my kids with me, and I don't know. I got an uneasy feeling. I would still go again. I would go, but again, maybe I would feel differently now. But I don't know. Yeah. And as I said, never been to Montego Bay.
And again, these are all best and worst cruise ports in our opinion too. So there's no statistical data on this. This is all just in our opinion. So we'll put that out there. We have been to Jamaica twice, but never on a cruise. Okay. What was your experience, June and Brady? Let us know in the chat below. Ochos Rios, another great sky ride. Yes, yes,
Maybe next time. Maybe I'll do that the next time I go.
it really is. It really is. Montego Bay is on our bucket list. Okay.
Isn't the Boost Cruise 2.0 on going there in Montego Bay?
I believe so. It is going to Montego Bay.
so.
Yeah, it is. It is. We'll definitely start to hit some of those. So again, like I said, Mike and Rihanna, once you get one under your belt, it's see here. Also a very long pier. Yes, a very long pier. So I will echo kind of off of that, Bill, too, as well. I have a short story about Ochos Rios as far as Dunn River Falls. So that was a place in a port that I visited when I was much younger, probably now 9-10 years old. I remember going and hiking up the Dunn River or down the Dunn River Falls with my father. Mother didn't want to do it, but she took pictures of us. And I remember, I will never forget, my dad, as we were going down the Dunn River Falls or up, he stepped in like kind of like a, I don't know, you know how like the rocks are in the Dunn River Falls? He kind of stepped in like a hole and prescription sunglasses tilted off his face and went straight down into like a hole in like an abyss, right? Me being 9 years old, I'm like, oh, I got it. I went straight in, dove in. I didn't even open my eyes, straight dove in. And I was like digging around. I came up and I was like, I got him. And like everybody was like cheering, like, oh yeah. My dad obviously thanked me, put his glasses back on. And I think actually, no. So I grabbed him, but I think the side was broken a little bit, but we got back on the cruise ship and he fixed it up, either taped it up or screwed it back on. Yeah, that was my one memory of Dunn River Falls of Ochos Rios. But
Scott the superhero.
At 9 years old. Funny, me and my dad actually still talk about that. We kind of still joke about that. But more on the other side of Montego Bay. So I have a lot more to share as far as Montego Bay goes. Bill, you haven't been to Montego Bay?
Never been to Montego Bay.
Okay, so Montego Bay, again, maybe a little bit alarming because you do kind of come out there too as well. Goodbye, Scrow's Nest. We'll see you later. You do come out. You do see some of those armed guards and you do see some of those barbed wire. However, I've been there, I think, 3 or 4 times, and I was lucky enough to meet a really awesome tour guide. Her name was Janelle. I have pinned her Facebook chat up there as well, up in the pinned comments for anybody going to Montego Bay, because I know Eddie's Booze Cruise is going to Montego Bay. This individual, Janelle, will make you feel so safe. Her tour will take you on a lunch that will end up going to something called the pig or the pork pit. I will show you a picture of that. Amazing lunch, amazing tour guide, amazing information, so safe. She ends you with some shopping in the village. She takes you by a beach and basically will really take you anywhere that you want to go. So let me just share this here because I do have a little bit to share as far as information on Janelle. Whoops, this is going to be Janelle's Facebook page on her tours. So if you guys are going to Montego Bay, and I even hear now on her Facebook page, because I do keep in touch with her, that she is expanding now to Ochos Rios. So I know she started this company herself and now has other individuals that she has hired. She has gone through a process. So again, super, super safe. Anybody that she refers as far as a tour guide, I would 110% trust her. So let's see here. Mommy Millionaire has made it in, so we want to say hello.
Hey, Jennifer.
Thank you for coming on in. And so let me just scroll here to show you guys her page, Jamaica Tour Guide by Janelle. You can see some of her wonderful tours. That is her here pointing to the camera. She always jokes about how her English is not good, but it is actually really, really good for.
Oh, that's nice.
For where she thinks it is. It is really
yeah.
picture here of another tour. You can see some kids too as well, so it's not just for adults. She does take you to some parts of the beach that, again, for some drinkers and some partiers too. So she kind of just feels out her crowd. Let me just share this picture here. She kind of feels out her crowd and will take you exactly where you want to go. So I've been on 2 tours with Janelle now, and she is just an amazing tour guide. Let me just share the other part of the screen here, because I do have some pictures. I took some pictures with her on our tour guide. Is this the one? Yes, this is the one. Okay, cool. So here,
definitely look her up.
we have the pork pit. So she always refers the pork pit because it's definitely one of the best lunch spots. I think $7 or $8 for what I'm about to show you. Again, it went up. Haven't been there in a few years, but this is what $7 gets you. Chicken. We have some sausage here. We have their version of a cornbread, which was really good. There was some rice under here, so
nice
value. And,
does it come with the beer?
Yes, and a red Star.
Okay.
Little combo too. It's happy time. That was right outside the pig pit, the pork pit. Excuse me. Let's see here. I'm gonna share one more. This one, right? Oh no, that's not the view I wanted to share. This is the view I wanted to share. We stopped off the ship there, and it was just she was like, "Oh, you want to take a picture of this?" And I was like, "Yeah, I want to take a picture of this." So that is her tours there. Again, her Facebook is linked in the pinned comments. I stopped sharing that. And Jamaica, for me, again, I would probably still put it on one of the worst cruise ports, because for first-time cruisers, again, that could be a little alarming, as Bill said, because people are holding some ARs and, again, barbed wire. So for me,
well, you spent more time there, so again, just because my perception from the first time, maybe I was wrong, and maybe I should give it another chance and go back there. I'd like to catch up with Janelle.
Yes, and on that booze, I told her the dates that I'm coming, and she put it on her calendar. She is excited, so hopefully maybe we can even get a little group excursion or something like that. We'll talk about that because I'm going on the booze too. I will just deposit now. Let's see. We are getting down to the nitty gritty on the cruise ports. I think we only have 3 left. 4 left. See. Oh, yeah! This is the one I was most excited to talk about, guys, if you haven't picked that up. So let me delete this here. Bimini, Bahamas. Now, let's see. I know Lovey has just went to Bimini, Bahamas. He has a few videos of Bimini on his channel, so go and check that out, as well as any of the other chat members here. Have you guys been to Bimini? I know it is a newer cruise port, kind of within this year, last year, or a couple years. But if any of you have been to Bimini, please share what you have done there, because it is a small island, not much to do there, but I think it's super fun. So I've been there twice. I went last October and I went this March. I met a lot of cool people in the island of Bimini. I rented a golf cart twice for 2 different prices because I was a little better on haggling the price the second time and not telling them how much money I really had in my pocket. But we rented a golf cart. You can basically drive the entire island in about 15 minutes from point to point. You really can't get lost, even if you make a right turn or a left turn. Well, you can't make a left turn and go into the ocean. But if you make a right turn and you feel like you go into the local part, you can't get lost. You just make another left and you're right back on the main street. It's very, very tiny island. Everything is very local. There are places with the golf cart that you can basically just stop the golf cart, and everybody's doing it. It's not like you're going to get in trouble. Stop the golf cart, literally on the side of the road, and go off, take pictures, go down, go to the beach, go wherever you want, walk up the golf cart, and you just kind of come back to it, and it's there. So that is my experience as far as Bimini goes. We ended up in a bar called Stewart's, which is, you won't find it on Google. You won't find it anywhere else. You're only going to find it in Bimini. It was a wonderful outlook of Bimini, our ship. We had some conch salad. We had some, I believe, Sands and Sands light beers there. They were, I think, 5 for 25 or something like that day. And then we just kind of drove the island a couple times. We did actually go up into the local part of Bimini. I am a baseball player myself, so I saw a baseball field there that was definitely different than a baseball field in America. So I took some pictures there. I couldn't find them again on my phone, but definitely one of those things where you kind of are grateful for the life that you live, because you see some of these things and you see some of the way that these third world countries are living, and especially Bimini. They're building up now because we are coming there and we are pumping more money into their economy. But again, as far as like the baseball field, you can go and you can see, you're just like, wow, like extracurricular activities take place on this field here. Like, that is just crazy to me. But Bill, have you been to Bimini,
I
Bahamas?
have. I had a great time in Bimini. I got off the ship, and they have a little shuttle that would take you to a beach, to a resort that most people go to, and it's free shuttle, takes you down into the beach. Not a whole lot to do. The resort, it's decent. I mean, not bad. But what I really loved about it was the person I was traveling with knew somebody from the island, and he ran a taxi service. So we hooked up with him, and we wound up driving all over the island, going where all the locals go. And his daughter, I guess they don't have the school there on the island, so she has to take a boat to get to wherever the school is. So, well, we were running late, and so he had to go pick her up. So we run and pick him up, and we go by his house and drop her off, and we continue our tour. We wound up going to some local restaurant to get some conch. I didn't eat it. People that I was with was eating it, but um, just learn about the history of it. How a lot of the booze smugglers and pirates used to use this as a hideout island.
Yes.
So a lot of rich and famous people used to go there just to get away, because it's kind of a private island. As you said, they're building it up now, but he took us around and just showed us so much about the town that I really enjoyed it. I would love to go back. And again, it was all local stuff. Once I got away from the beach, it was all local stuff, and we had a blast. We had a blast.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, there's also a bakery there too. I believe it's Nate's Bakery. They have been a bakery, an establishment in Bimini for 90 years. They sell like single croissants, they sell single pastries and things like that. But their like claim to fame is their bread loaves, unsliced bread loaves that you bring home and you slice yourself. They say absolutely to die for. It's some of the freshest bread, and he's been there. He takes pride in his company. I went there. I went into Nate's. I did not get a loaf of bread, but I did get a. I forgot to tell you guys this. I got like a pastry or something like that, and I told him that I saw him on one of the most famous bakeries in Bimini, and he told me that he'd been open for 90 plus years, and I'm just like, wow, same guy too. Like it's been passed down within the family, and it's like a family generation bakery. And I'm like, wow. Nate was his great grandfather, so
Wow.
Crazy. All right, so let's see here. I think we only have a few left, Bill. As far as Bimini, I don't think a lot of people in the chat, besides Lovey, have really been to Bimini, because I know that is that's a new cruise port. The reason why I put it on there was because I've been there twice. I know you've been there once, so at least hopefully the chat could get some good information about Bimini if they.
It's easy port to transverse. I mean, you don't have to worry about anything, and everything's. You get out right onto a tram, because I mean you could probably walk it, but it's too far to walk. So get on the tram, go to the beach, and then get on the tram and head back.
Yep, and that's the other thing too. You don't have to rent the golf cart. You can go on that free tram. Before I spin the wheel, you can go on that free tram that will take you to all the most popular ports. The golf cart just gives you that freedom, if you would like it, to be able to leave, when you want to leave. But I believe the trolley it goes every like 15 or 20 minutes or something like that. So I mean, they're always coming back and they're always circling around. So you won't be left at the resort or you won't be left at the beach or things like that. So it's continuously circling if you don't want to spend $60 or $80
Right.
on the golf cart, which is it. I get it; it's expensive for sure, but I did it for the experience. So let's see here. We got 3 more.
Ready for the tube.
Pretty popular ones left. Some of my favorites too, actually. Boop, 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 boop. The Belizean way. Belize. God bless you. Oop, oop. I gotta click stop sharing. Boom. Belize. Has anybody in the chat been to Belize? Because I have
I've been there once.
So, Bill, tell us your experience on Belize, the Belizean way.
You know what the funny thing about Belize was, you go to the area. I believe you have to tender over to like the port area. So you go to a port area, it's like a typical port area, shops, drinks, bars, and things like that. Get food. Me being me, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna venture outside the gate. They said they warned, don't venture outside the gate. I ventured outside the gate, started walking for a little bit, and talked to a few people. And I can remember this little boy walking up to me, and he had a couple of his friends. They started playing some music for me. So I wound up giving them like $5 to, just for playing the music. And all these grown men started coming up towards the kid because I walked away and I'm like, I probably got that little boy robbed. So I wound up leaving from where I was at because it wasn't too far outside the gates. And I wound up walking back and going back into the safe area. So yeah, Belize is one of those. Again, I didn't do a tour, so I don't know about the tours, but I'm talking about like just leaving the port area, walking on your own, which is what I like to do a lot of times.
Yeah.
That wasn't one of them. That Belize is not high on my list.
It's definitely one of those where you second yourself if this is a safe port or not. Again, one of the ports that I will talk about, Cruise Nuts says here, just got back on here, been to Belize about 25 times.
Wow.
I've been, I think, I want to say 5 times, give or take. A lot of them were on the Dream and the Elation. However, I started off doing an excursion. I believe it was a scuba diving excursion. It was a scuba diving excursion. And I met a really close friend now who actually lives in the States. He was from Belize, but was the instructor there, or the junior instructor at the time. We had a great time. It was an awesome scuba dive. Probably one of the best scuba diving experiences that I had ever on a cruise. In total, it was some amazing fish, some amazing experiences. The trainers and the scuba diving instructors were great as far as their patience and their instructions to us, because a lot of us were first-time scuba divers. We didn't go down very far, and then I ended up staying in contact with them. We just kind of vibed a little bit, and every time after that, when I went back, I ended up hitting my friend up. Rudy is his name. And again, now he lives in the United States, fully speaks English, does all that, and has a working job, ended up marrying an American woman here in the States. So I still keep in contact with him.
Good.
Many private tours with him. Some of the things that I cannot say here on YouTube, but did many private tours with him, took me around the town, which was really, really awesome. But again, luckily that happened back in 2017, 18, 19-ish. So now I don't know how I feel as far as Belize, because we've seen it in the news. We kind of know it's one of those rougher cruise ports. So I am going to put Belize on one of my worst cruise ports to visit, especially as a first-time cruiser. I do think the beaches are beautiful. I think that it is a beautiful island, a beautiful experience. But again, it can be a little taken back for those.
Yeah, I think the government, U.S. government, put it on the do not travel to list. So
or at least on the like
Yeah, it's they're in Jamaica were like the two that of all the places in like in Caribbean down that way are about the only two that I felt uncomfortable walking with the locals.
yeah. You get different looks. You just kind of have that. You get that feel.
Well,
You
I'm
get
curious about cruise nuts. See, did he been to Belize 25 times? Does he stay at a resort and doesn't leave the resort, or he just stay off the mainland on Belize? Yeah, so he's probably goes there. He stays at a resort, and see for me, I mean that's nice. But usually when I go out places, I want to go where the locals go. So that's why that would be low on my list. I think if a cruise went there, just stay in the port and stay with the tour guides, you'd probably be okay.
Yep. I'm glad I was able to experience it and experience Belize back in 2016, 17, 18. I'm so glad that I was able to experience
Yeah.
it. Because
I always wanted to go. That was one of my long time ago, one of my bucket list things. So I'm glad I was able to experience it.
all right, let's see. What do we got here left, Bill? What do we got here left? We only got 2 left. Oh boy. Wow. I think 2 of the most popular. Well, I wouldn't say that, but maybe. Ba-da-da-da-da. All right, which one are we going to talk about? Because we got a lot to say about both. One's my favorite, and one's still in the good ones though. You boo. Do. Grand Cayman / the Cayman
Yeah.
Islands. Let's see. So let us know, chat, if you have been to Grand Cayman or the Cayman Islands. Let us know all you know about the Cayman Islands and some of your favorite things to do in the Cayman Islands. Bill, have you been to the Cayman Islands?
I've been there a few times. I love Cayman Islands, and there's a lot of banking and things like that on Cayman Islands. So it's not it's very first worldish, we'll say. So there, you really you don't go down there and haggle. You don't, like you go. I mean, you might get some of the little shops in the port. You might haggle, but no place else on the island do you haggle. The price is the price. It's like being here almost. 7 Mile Beach was there, and my greatest memory about 7 Mile Beach is I almost drowned because I'm not the best swimmer, and I was walking out, and I walked out, and all of a sudden the beach just dropped off. Maybe I don't know, 20 yards out, it just dropped off. So I'm up to my chest in the water, and then took another step, and it's over my head. So that's what I remember. 7 Mile Beach is one of the most beautiful beaches in the world. I mean, and it stretches just as far as the eye can see. White, sandy, soft sand beach. Blue water. I mean, it was one of the most beautiful beaches, but I almost died there, so I have a bad memory. But it's all one of my positive places to go. If you get to go to Grand Cayman, go to Grand Cayman and take a tour of the island. You'll be impressed with the island.
Yeah, 7 Mile Beach is honestly where it's at, and to kind of echo off Bill, it is that safe feeling because it is still a British-owned colony or English-owned colony, correct?
I believe British.
You still have that very safe feel. Everybody is kind of warm and welcoming. It's not, hey, buy this off of me as soon as you get into the cruise port.
Right.
Please hold me. It's not like that at all. So that is also kind of why I liked Grand Cayman a lot. I went down to 7 Mile Beach, and the best part about 7 Mile Beach, besides being able to see as far as the eye can see beach, it's free.
It's free.
So you can go to 7 Mile Beach. You can go there. You can sit on the beach. Nobody will bother you, and it's all free. Nobody's going to charge you for anything. Anything that is there at 7 Mile Beach, you are able to use. I actually met some really cool bartenders there. Stayed in contact with a few bartenders from Calico Jacks here. Let's see if I can share my screen again here. I will show you a few pictures of Calico Jacks. If it is still there, I'm not sure. This was quite a few years ago, but back down here, let's see at Calico Jacks. Where was it? Right here. Calico Jack. So got to go behind the bar. I have another picture just like that, but I'm not going to show you because it's literally the same thing with me in just a different shirt. But Calico Jack's awesome bartenders there. It was a really great island feel. Everybody was warm and welcoming. Everybody spoke English too. And again, it was just a really cool hangout right outside the port, right outside the pier. You could see the boat, and the drinks were kind of strong, really strong, very strong. And Calico Jack's definitely one of the places to go. I don't know if they've renamed it, may have not renamed it. My friend that I knew that works there no longer works there. He actually moved into the United States again as well. So, but definitely one of my top, I would say, 3 cruise ports. I haven't been there in a couple of years, but I'm looking forward to on the Blue going to Grand Cayman.
It's up there, but Cruise Nuts is saying it same thing. That's one of the places where there's really no haggling.
Nope.
It's like being here. You catch a cab, you get in the cab, you don't haggle, you go. You don't haggle the prices with the drivers there either. But again, I loved it. The island, I would imagine, I didn't price like real estate or anything like that over there, but I would imagine it's up there because I'm sure a lot of people want to go to Cayman Islands, Grand Cayman.
If there was one place that I would move in the Caribbean, it would be the Cayman Islands. And I said that the day that I left there, the very first day that I was cruise port there, I said, man, if I could live anywhere in the Cayman Islands, and this was like 26-year-old me, anywhere in the Caribbean, it would be the Cayman Islands. It really would. K-Invest, the National Bank, is great to invest in their CDs and investment funds. So great little tip there, Cruise Nuts. Might look into that myself for sure. So I think, Bill, that leaves us with, if nobody else has anything to say about Grand Cayman or the Cayman Islands and 7 Mile Beach and Calico Jacks, I think that leaves us with our very last cruise port, Nassau and Freeport, Bahamas. I know almost probably everybody in the chat has been to either Nassau or Freeport. So please share some of your favorite things. And we will go over Nassau and Freeport here pretty briefly because there's probably a lot to say as far as Nassau and Freeport go. So, Bill, how many times have you been to Nassau and Freeport combined?
I don't know if I've ever been to Freeport, or if I have, it's only been once.
Okay.
And it was a long time ago. And what I remember about Freeport, there was like, and I watched your video, there was like nothing to do. So again, it wasn't one of my favorite ports. I never wanted to go back. Nassau, I enjoy Nassau, but you've been there so many times. And recently, with all the people trying to sell you everything, as soon as you step out towards like the shops, I mean, you're just bombarded with people. This was kind of on my, because it was kind of on my worst, but because of this new port, I want to go. I want to go back and see what it's like, because that new port looks beautiful. And last time I was there, they were working on it, but I want to go back there. And if they're able to spread the people out, but the problem is they made a bigger port, but they're bringing in more ships. So is it going to be still just as crowded?
Right, because I know there's restaurants and there's bars and there's shopping in there, but there's also restaurant, bars, and shopping on the other side. So if they're bringing in more ships, right? There's only so many places in Nassau for people to go to filter into. So they had to, honestly, they had to do something else there if they were going to bring ships, because it would just be overcrowded and overpopulated.
Yeah, but they built it up, and then they're going to bring in more ships. It's like, don't build it up, but same number of ships.
Yep.
But anyway, we'll see. I haven't been there since they opened the new port up. So I'll see.
Yes. And honestly, to tell you the truth, that was the one thing that I was going to say, Cruise Nuts, about Freeport. I've been there probably 4 or 5 times. Not much to do. I usually save Freeport as my souvenir stop, because I'll get out and I like to kind of get the best deal and haggle, and I'll walk around for a little while, for an hour or so, and get some souvenirs for my friends and things like that, friends and family. So I'll use Freeport as kind of like my shopping, haggling day. But otherwise than that, Paradise Cove is probably one of the only or best excursionist to do as far as Freeport goes that I can think of.
All right, and again, if I go down there, because I plan on taking doing a cruise on Margaritaville, and probably just do something like that, go to Paradise Cove and call it a day.
Yep. Or Carla Rose too. So right out of that, she works in that Margaritaville port. So it's like $40 a day. Carla Rose tours. She'll take you all on Freeport, everywhere, lunch, everything, and then you just come back. So we'll do Carla Rose tours, but she's very specific just to that Margaritaville cruise port. So, and then Nassau, to tell you the truth. Okay, so I'm going to put Nassau and Cozumel in a very special bucket for myself. So Nassau and Cozumel are ports that I love to take new cruisers to. So I have a little confession to make. I love taking people, my friends, family, anybody who has maybe been thinking about a cruise, toe dipping into cruises, have texted me like, "Oh, I see you're on cruises. Oh, how would be really awesome to go on one." So anybody that's kind of like that I've kind of talked to a little bit, that have come up to me and says, "Okay, I'm ready to cruise." I cannot wait to take them to Cozumel and Nassau. One, because I've been there so many times, so I kind of look like I know what I'm doing as far as taking them off. And it's one of those, two of those ports I feel very comfortable in. One, because I have a really good friend, and two, because I've been there so many times. So these ports, even though on some people's list they may be the worst, for me, they hold a special place in my heart because I like to take people, especially first-time cruisers, to those places that end up wanting to trust me and go on a cruise. So Nassau, Bahamas, I've been to, oh man, probably getting up into 15, 16, 20-ish times.
I would say 30 some odd times. A lot of times, because it got so bad with the people, I wouldn't even get off the ship anymore.
Yeah.
That would be just there. Everybody gets off, and I spend time around the pool or do my ship vlogs now.
Yep. And I think that's why they were forced to build that second port, because they were seeing the numbers of people and the spending in the ports for all these ships, and it wasn't matching up, and people like yourself and other people weren't getting off the ships and spending the money. So they were like, we have to do something else to create that revenue and make people want to get off the ship when they visit Nassau. Because for a while there, March to like May, you could see it in all the cruise news. Oh, Nassau tanking, Nassau being the worst port, Nassau this, Nassau that.
Well, one of the worst things was when I got off, I wanted to take a taxi ride over to Atlantis. You get in a cab, but they don't want to go with just one person. They want to fill the cab up. So now I'm sitting there for 20 minutes, 30 minutes waiting to go. I said, "Sir, can we just go?"
Yeah. And I've done the Atlantis tour. So I did that when I was probably 18, 19. I remember doing that with my parents. I ended up winning second place in a poker tour over there. They were, I don't know if they were mad at me, but again, it lasted like 5 hours and they had no idea what it was. But I bought some drinks for my parents when we got back on the boat. But that was a really cool experience. I never went down the shark slide. I know that a lot of people end up going there on the shark slide, but before I ended up going into the poker tournament, we walked around Atlantis. That was really cool. But now when I go myself, to be honest with you, Bill, I just walk myself to Junkanoo Beach, because Junkanoo Beach is it's free. It's awesome. People are partying down there. They're pouring free shots in your mouth as you're walking by. I mean, it's a great place to be.
I do it. Walk right by Margaritaville and just go right down there to Junkanoo.
You can't get lost.
I love it down there.
Yeah. I have a really bad video of how to walk to Junkanoo Beach, because it was like one of my first videos, and we know we all go at our first video, but I have a really bad video of how to get there. But again, there's signs everywhere, right, Bill? Literally every corner, this way Junkanoo Beach, that way Junkanoo Beach, this way Junkanoo Beach. So you really can't get lost. And it's 7 or 10 minutes walk.
Yep, just turn right and keep going.
Keep going. Yeah. Honestly, I mean, yes, okay, the drinks aren't free there, but I mean, you get down there and the drinks are just like anywhere else that you're going to go in Nassau. So I mean, why not hang out there, have a good time? The music's playing, the beach. They're playing beach volleyball. I mean, I went there the last time I went there, and you'll see that in the video if you watch it. Was spring break. It was wild, Bill. I mean, oh man, I spent maybe an hour and 45 minutes there because it was for me. It was even like boom, 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 boom. Party, 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 party. I party. Don't get me wrong, I party, but that was spring break forever. Spring break forever. Says Cruise Nut says, Bill, you will love Carnival a lot after Margaritaville cruise. That ship is a joke from what all my friends say. So Cruise Nuts, I actually just went on the Margaritaville of the Sea, and I have a little bit of a different opinion. I kind of like the Margaritaville at the Sea. I didn't like that I flew all the way across the country for a 2-day cruise, but if it was a connector cruise or something to add on, I don't see a problem with it. Everybody was super helpful. The customer service was great. The drinks were strong, and the food was great. So the food was good.
Yeah, I think Margaritaville I think would be fine.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not a picky person. I just want to go on a cruise ship and have fun, and as long as it's cruising, I think I would have a good time.
Yeah.
That's not one of the newer ships, but again, I don't buy the suites on the cruise ship and the balconies and all. I usually don't buy that. So interior room, it's right up my alley.
Yeah.
Probably
110%. And maybe it's something that we organize before or after the booze too.
Yeah. Well, again, I just try for 2 days. I try. If I do it, maybe I will feel like Cruise Nuts.
Yeah, that's true. And see, Cruise Nuts, that's basically what my channel is. Okay, to each their own, like controversial.
Yeah.
You can have a view, I can have a view, right? And
Exactly.
we can together and hang out. So as far as the list, Bill, so one of our closing questions before our favorite segment, one of our closing questions, which out of all of those cruise ports that we kind of went over today, which is your favorite and which is your least favorite out of all of them? If you had to choose one from both.
Favorite ports of what we went to today. Which ones did we do? Probably what I like to do right now, it might be Mahogany Bay, Roatan. Just because of the proximity of the beach, I don't really have to go anywhere. Probably Mahogany Bay would be one of my favorites. One of the least favorites will probably Belize.
Belize. Okay.
Probably Belize.
Okay. And I want to hear from everybody in the chat too, because everybody has an opinion, and I know you can all chime in on this. So let us know out of all of the ones, and even if it's something that we didn't go over, I'm going to open this wide. But let me know your favorite Caribbean cruise port to cruise to while cruising, and your worst. No, even if they're not on the list, let us know in the chat. My favorite on the list out of all of them. Again, I think, Bill, probably why we get along so well is going to be Roatan. I was going to say Grand Cayman. Grand Cayman is a very close second, but I didn't want to say, break my own rule and give two. But I want to give one. Roatan, if I could find a way to get back to Roatan and be in that paradise with that snapper, because I am landlocked and I probably haven't had fish since I've sailed out of Charleston, South Carolina, or visited my parents in North Carolina. That would be where I would want to go. I still would take probably a first-time cruiser there, because they would probably get off the ship and drop their jaw and be like, where? Is this real? Is this real? Because that is the feeling that you get when you step into Roatan, and especially if you experience the skydive or the sky ride, and that exhilarating experience and that view. I mean, it is just like eye candy. I want to say the X-rated version, but I'm not. It's like eye candy. So just leave it at that. I think Roatan, I think we both agree for a good reason. I think for me, I'm gonna take a first time cruisers angle at the worst port. I think the worst port to visit as a first-time cruiser would have to be Belize, right? And it is a hand in hand, probably. I was going to say Jamaica, but again, we are all going to Jamaica, so I don't want to scare anybody off, but it's really not that scary. But I would say Belize. Now, I'm going to say Belize because if you look at geographically where Belize is, as far as what Bill and I are saying, you feel a little roughness, you feel people with the armed guards, right? If you look at where they are geographically on the map and the 4 countries that are around Belize, you could kind of guess why the heightened security is the way that it is. Again, I've had wonderful experiences in Belize. I am so glad that I went there back in 2016 to 2019. But again, if Belize was on the itinerary for a first-time cruiser, I would just be like, okay, follow me, take my suit, and we'll go out for a little while, but we'll probably end up back on the ship sooner than you want to if we are doing an excursion. So those are the best and the worst in our opinions as far as Caribbean cruise ports. Let's see what the chat has to say now that the chat has chimed in. San Juan and St. Thomas, top 2. Worst was Labadee.
Never been to Labadee. I could imagine Labadee, Haiti, right up there.
Yeah, I've heard some stories too. I didn't put it on the list either because Labadee I have not been to either. So I only wanted a few cruise ports that Bill and I have not been to. I didn't want it to be all cruise ports we haven't been to. Cozumel, my favorite. Worth, not on the list. Oh, was not on the list. Progresso. Yes, Progresso was another one of those. What are those ports?
Yeah, it's not high up on the list. It's down there.
It's definitely.
I agree.
Definitely down there. Not much to do too in Progresso. Let's see. Ooh, Honduras. Honduras is Roatan. Favorite for sure. Belize was the worst.
And Belize looks like such a paradise. When you look at the pictures, it looks like such a paradise.
It really does. Cosmo. Oh.
It looks like a repeat. Uh-huh.
Yep. There's nothing better than fresh snapper. I agree. Red fresh snapper right up. Oh, I'm sad that I couldn't find this picture. I scrolled so long to find this picture for you guys, but I couldn't. Maybe I'll post it on YouTube if I find it. Bermuda is our favorite, as well as St. Kitts. We named that too.
Anything Saint, it's one of the best.
St. Kitts is honestly one that I want to go to. My parents visit St. Kitts. They do a lot of the saints. They do a lot of more of the Mediterranean and more of the celebrity. And they're actually going on the Ruby Princess in November. They're doing a Mediterranean cruise, so they'll be hitting some of those saints too as well. They sent me the itinerary, but I couldn't make it, so I didn't really look at it too intently. But St. Kitts is definitely on one of the lists for me to get to. And Mike Clark hated Freeport, as many of us as well too. I am looking forward to Skagway, Ketchikan, Glacier Bay, Juneau, not so much. So funny that you say that. I know we are talking about a Caribbean cruise, but go ahead, Bill.
I Glacier Bay. I've never been to Glacier Bay. I want to go to Glacier Bay. In Juneau. I did my helicopter ride. I enjoyed it at Mendenhall Bay Glacier, but I've never been to Glacier Bay. I've always been to Tracy Imes Fjords. So I would love to do Glacier Bay.
Glacier Bay is another one of those where you don't get off the ship, right? Correct. It's.
I believe there's a place to get off in Glacier Bay.
Oh.
I mean, yeah, if I'm not mistaken, they have like a museum and a ton of stuff there. If I'm thinking the right place.
Okay. And I also Orange Cone Vlog. I am going there next week, so I am looking forward to Skagway, Ketchikan, Tracy on Fjord, and Juneau as well. So I have some plans in some of the ports, so you guys will have to stay tuned. And Ross, if you're ironically there the same time I am, let's link up and get a drink or hang out or do something. So I don't know how soon you're going, but I'm going next week. So let's see here. In Belize, you have to get away from the port. You really do. You really do. Now I will say I did feel super safe, but when I was on a lot of these tours that my friend from Belize took me to, if he dropped me off and said, "Get out now," I'd be done for. I wouldn't know how to. We were far, but again, mid-20s cruising or late 20s cruising. I guess that's some of the risks that you will take. So let's see. I think we've gotten down to the chat, and
That is it.
Bill, for our favorite segment, I brought in a prop because I don't have a soundboard on this computer. I tried to download it as quickly as I could, but it didn't work. So for our very last segment, your favorite segment, we have the back in the day with Bill W.
I like the mic.
I'll tell you, this actually came from a Halloween costume when I was the Rock on, I believe the Dream.
I was about to say it looks like a WWE mic.
If you smell. Okay. Anyway, the back in the day question for Bill is, what cruise port have you visited in the Caribbean that is no longer offered / closed as a cruise port?
Well, let's see. It's not closed, but back in the day, Carnival used to cruise out of San Juan. And when I went out of San Juan a couple of times, you hit the St. Kitts, St. Lucia, Barbados. You hit those on a 7-day cruise. And that's what I miss with Carnival. I don't know if any other cruise lines start their cruises there anymore. I don't think Carnival does anymore. And I can't think of a port that's closed that I back in the day that they don't go to now. But I noticed that Carnival doesn't do that. You can go on some of those extended cruises and go down there. But back in the day, you fly down to San Juan, 7-day cruise, and you hit all the best ports. Barbados.
So close to
yeah, I mean, it was St. Kitts, St. Lucia. I think I probably did it all in the same tour, in the same trip. So that's what I miss. And San Juan was a great port to leave out of. So you fly down there like a day early and visit a little bit of San Juan, and then go on a 7-day cruise and hit all these exotic places. So I love that.
Did you only go there once? I
think I did it twice. I've left out of San Juan twice. So, and I loved it, but then all of a sudden, I think when the pandemic hit, and then they stopped cruising out of San Juan. And San Juan, it took a while for them to open back up, and we weren't going there for a while. Now we're kind of going back there now, but we're for Carnival at least. They're not cruising out of Carnival.
Yeah,
out of San Juan.
The visiting port. Ross says, book the train in Skagway through the ship. They will pick you up at the ship. Otherwise, you will have to go down to get on. Okay, interesting.
Yeah, that is that the White Pass? Probably White Pass. I love that train ride. My problem was when I got off, I booked it off the ship and on my own. It was cheaper. However, I didn't have my passport with me, so we stopped at the border and had to come back. We came back around. But yeah, no, that's a good one. I just make sure I hope you book the one that goes up into the Yukon and to Canada.
Definitely. And I think are they right now? Are they still on strike, or did they resolve that? I know that it was getting pretty close. I was listening to that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Now.
Yeah, no, I'm not sure.
So because Ross says they're going in 2025.
Nice.
And going this time next year in 2024. So I'm not sure about that strike. I did hear something in the cruise news about it a couple weeks ago, and I was wondering if it would affect our sailing. But Brady and I are not actually doing that excursion. I am bringing you some budget things to do as far as port goes. Port stays go in the Carnival Luminosa. So we're going to do some, the first time around, since it's my first time, we're going to do some budget port ideas. And then the second time around, when I go back, I will take a breathtaking, once-in-a-lifetime bucket list excursion like my friend Warmstrong has here, and take a helicopter up to the top of the glacier.
You love it. Most amazing excursion I ever had.
Yes. Save my pennies for next time. It was March 9th to the 16th. Right now, the tickets are more than the cruise. Oh, nice, Ross. Okay, the strike is over, but they're doing construction on the line. Okay. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know. Well, Bill, this has been a little bit longer than an hour.
Just a little bit.
A little bit longer than expected, but we appreciate everybody hanging out with us, listening to our best and worst cruise ports to visit while cruising. Again, Bill, we will be here next week. Do you have any closing words or anything to say as far as Warmstrong Adventures goes?
Warmstrong Adventures tomorrow night at 5 p.m. I will be doing Banter with Bill, where I'll be talking the advantages of cruising and land vacations, probably like all inclusive and things like that. Which one's better? But that is it. Only thing I'm going to say is stay strong and embrace the journey.
Absolutely. And then tomorrow I have a 3 p.m., 6 p.m. trivia with Embarkation Nation. If Embarkation Nation does not have Wi-Fi, I will still be there, and I will still be hosting that trivia because this is something that I definitely look forward to every week, and something that I kind of want to get rolling and get going. So we did change the time from last week 1 hour up, because I know 4 o'clock is a very congested time period, and I would also like to try to filter people into either Journey with the Gingers or Parkers on the Go, because both great channels. So I want to line myself up to be able to filter everybody into that after our trivia at 3 and 6. But other than that, we will see you next week for another quick hour in the cruising community with Warmstrong Adventures and myself. We appreciate you guys being with us. Thank you so much. As this live is continuing to grow, I know it's something that I look forward to every single week. Bill, is this something that you look forward to every week?
Same with me. I again, Scott, I love coming on here talking cruising with you, because it's so much fun to me. Yes. Just talking cruising in general, but just listening to you and your knowledge about cruising, I love it. I look forward to this time slot every week.
Yes, likewise, Bill. So again, thanks for everybody for joining. We will see you next week. And as Bill says, stay strong and embrace the journey.
Good night, everybody.